I brought one number to this table. 72%, that is Chinese share of every new ship ordered on this planet this year. Not built, won. The orders, the future fleet. And last month, it was 85%, 85 in 1 month. And here is the part that should stop you. That's not the problem. The problem is a date. November 9th, there is a truce on the American calendar. A fee on Chinese-built ships switched off by agreement for exactly 1 year. That year ends November 9th. Nobody, not Washington, not Beijing, not your freight forwarder, can tell you which way it breaks. I'm going to show you exactly what it costs if it snaps back and exactly what to do before it does. If you import anything, ship anything, sell anything, subscribe. I do one of these every Thursday from Shanghai and it genuinely helps. Here is the receipt. Last October, the United States started charging a fee on Chinese-built ships coming into American ports. $120 per container discharged. 3 weeks later, it got suspended. A deal both sides switched their fees off for exactly 1 year. And if it comes back, it doesn't come back at $120. It comes back at $153 per container. By 2028, $250. Charge 5 times a year per vessel. That's the schedule the USTR already wrote. It's sitting there waiting with a date on it. Now you are thinking, fine, I will just book my cargo on a ship that isn't Chinese. Read the rule again. The fee doesn't follow the owner. It follows the hull. If the ship was built in China, it pays. Doesn't matter if a Greek company owns it. Doesn't matter if a Danish captain runs it. Built in China, it pays. Watch how it works. First, China wins 72% of every new ship order on Earth this year. Not builds, wins the orders. Then the order book locks 206 million tons of ships under construction right now. China builds 65% of it. Finally, MSC, the biggest container line in the world, over 1,000 ships orders 128 more. Every single one from a Chinese yard. 100%. Like magic. The fleet you ship on is becoming the fleet that pays the fee. That part isn't a forecast, that part already happened. If that just landed, tap like. It honestly helps this reach the next operator who thinks a shipyard 8,000 miles away has nothing to do with this invoice. I want you to see something. In a shipyard in Korea, a plate of ship steel gets a digital tag. A machine reads it, a robot welds it. They finish nearly 1 ship a week. Philadelphia, America's biggest commercial yard, they mark that same steel with chalk. Chalk, a man with a stick of chalk. 2 ships a year, same company owns both yards, same company. Which is how you get to this number. In 2000, China had less than 5% of the world's commercial ships. 5%. 26 years, that's it. That's the whole distance. Steel, then welding, then subsidy, then scale, then cranes, docks, ports, robots, tonnage, dominance. 26 years. Nobody stopped it. Nobody tried to stop it. America didn't lose shipbuilding in a war. It walked away from it. Quietly, profitably, for 30 years. And the country that picked it up did exactly what any operator would do. They executed. Now you are probably wondering why a guy who talks about your supply chain is spending 5 minutes on boats. Because the boat is the supply chain. 90% of everything you have ever bought crossed an ocean on one. You don't have a sourcing problem, you have a hull problem. You just haven't been built for it yet. And the ship itself, a new container ship today, 22,000 boxes runs $261 million. up 47% since 2020. The index went up again last month. Follow it to your desk. The ship costs more. The slot is booked into 2028. On November 9th, a per container fee comes back onto the hull that most of the world's cargo now rides. Your freight code in Q1 is being written right now by 3 things you have never looked at. I want to be straight with you about what I don't know. I don't know what happens on November 9th. Nobody does. There are US senators writing letters demanding the fee come back. There are importers lobbying to keep them off. It could snap back. It could get extended. It could get renegotiated into something new. My read, after 25 years on these floors, it does not stay quiet. The number moves one direction or the other. And here is the thing that actually matters. The operators who get hurt in November will not be the ones who guessed wrong. They will be the one who never priced it at all. You don't need to predict this. You need to know your number before the decision lands so that whichever way it breaks, you already know what it does to you. That is the entire job. 3 things before November. 1. Find out what you are actually sailing on. Call your freight forwarder this week. Ask one question. Of the vessels carrying my cargo, how many were built in China? They know. They have never been asked. 2. Price the exposure. Take your annual container volume, multiply it by $153. That is not a prediction. That is your downside scenario. The number, if the truce lapses at the schedule, the USTR already published. Most importers I talked to have never done this multiplication. It takes 90 seconds and it changes the whole conversation with your CFO. And if one of those containers is yours, price it exactly. I built the Pro Tariff Calculator for this. And because you are one of my viewers, 7 days of full pro access free. 100% linked below. 60 seconds, go get your number. 3. Ask for a hull clause. When you renew your freight contract, ask who eats a reinstated fee, you or the carrier. Ask now why it's hypothetical. In November, it stops being hypothetical. The answer gets expensive. One last thing, and I mean this sincerely. If you got this far, you are exactly who I make this for. So one ask, subscribe. Because between now and November 9th, that decision is going to move and I am sitting in Shanghai tracking exactly how it lands on Western order books from inside the factories. Nobody is going to send you a letter about this. Here is everything complete, nothing held back. What's certain, China won 72% of the world's new ship orders this year and 85% of last month's. The fleet the West sails on is becoming Chinese built by default. The American fee follows the hull, not the flag. What's not? Whether that fee comes back on November 9th when the truce expires. It's $153 a container. If it does, nobody can tell you if it will. What you do about it, 3 phone calls and 1 multiplication. So whichever way November breaks, you already know your number. That's the whole video. That's all of it. 26 years from under 5% to 72. And in Philadelphia, they are still marking the steel with chalk. Not because Americans forgot how to build ships, because for 30 years, nobody paid them too. That's changing. $5 billion is going into that yard. It will take a decade. November 9th is in 4 months. The full written field report with every source is on the site, linked below. Next Thursday, Taiwan. Not the invasion story, the chip story, and the one factory your entire product line runs through, whether you know it or not. So here is my question, and I mean it. I don't know the answer. November 9th, does the truce hold or does the fee come back? Pick one, tell me below. I'm reading every answer and I will tell you in November who was right. See you Thursday from Shanghai.